Try to love, try to hate, try my best to appreciate the way the days fade by. Find it harder and harder to smile.
Not from DC, all you really know about DC is the political climate, I guess. But it's got a thriving music scene. And I've come to find that out since being here for about a year now. It's got a great music scene. There are local musicians playing every night somewhere. So yeah, I think it's been really great. Started making up songs when I was just old enough to talk really and just sing in the car. Just a bunch of kind of weird songs, but I didn't start really getting serious into songwriting until probably high school, and I started playing guitar around 17, probably 16, 17, that's when I got serious.
There are so many indie rock, DIY, or do-it-yourself bands and artists that play in Washington. Brassy, a singer-songwriter, told us about how she started singing and why the city has been beneficial for her career. Rob Klein, the singer for Nowadays, tells us about their creation, Mystery Inc. They also speak to the former spaces that students historically had gone to for music.
Whispers on campus of like this old spot called Above the Bayou that like no one really like knew about anymore, and then some kids moved into the old space like 2 years ago now and like revived Above the Bayou, and so for a little bit that was like the DIY spot and we played a few shows there, but when it became time that I could live off campus and not in a dorm, I was like, we need to find a place where we can do shows. So we looked around, and when we found this place we were like, it's perfect. It's located between GW and Georgetown, so like college kids can come and like, you know, we can populate the scene. It has a great basement.
High ceiling.
High ceiling.
It has a great ceiling.
There's no asbestos. There's no asbestos or
yeah.
anything, so it's pretty good.
And like, we're not like up against other houses. So yeah, we found the perfect spot to do shows, and I was immediately like, yeah, let's do it, because there was a house spot. Like we got our start out a house spot in our hometown in New Jersey. And it's like, if it wasn't for that, we probably wouldn't even be a band right now. Like, we almost certainly wouldn't be a band right now.
Yeah, 100%.
So I just wanted to have, like, I think it's important to always have a space like that everywhere. Like, bands in DC need that space. And I've just been really excited to provide it, and I hope we can continue to do that.
After the spring semester of 2019, Mystery Inc. had to be relocated from its space in Georgetown due to noise complaints. However, the new space is still an important spot to young DC DIY showgoers, as attendees are excited to go back this semester. Speaking to this same scene, we asked Pine Walls and the Avenues, two GW bands, what it has been like to have a rock band in Washington.
Rock isn't like what it used to be, like with audiences. You know, it's not the popular genre now, but we've worked it out. I mean, there's always people that are gonna be into live music, rock music, and yeah, I mean, like we're definitely happy. I think with the DC music scene.
I haven't had any other experience like in any other city.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I don't have any point of reference really to compare to.
You know, I will say that from my brief experience as a performing musician in DC, that there are a wide array of venues such as like Velvet Lounge, for example, smaller kind of places where up-and-coming bands who are trying to get that first gig, trying to get that experience, can go ahead and do that. So I think in that sense, the scene is very welcoming to musicians. But I also think sort of to graduate to these bigger venues, right, can be a challenge. It's just a question of sort of developing who you are as a band and musician in general.
Yeah, but like when people think of DC, I don't think they think of like the music scene. Yeah, they might think of like LA or like Portland or New York. But it's there if you look for it.
Yeah,
For sure.
Or like Seattle.
It's honestly, it's pretty nice just being a part of, like, well, DC has never really been on the map as like a known music city. It was like incredible music history, music past with the funk bands that came through here.
Jazz,
Chocolate
jazz,
Cake,
Duke Ellington.
Yeah, Duke Ellington. And
Marvin
then
Gaye.
We're playing on U
you have
Street.
the whole
Jim Morris.
like post-punk hardcore
Yeah.
thing with Fugazi and like Dave Grohl's
Yeah, man.
around here, Bad Brains, and I just feel really lucky to be a part of
Yeah.
DC music.
We are the Avenues on 3. 1, 2, 3.
We are the Avenues.
It gave birth to Minor Threat.
That's true. There's a lot of history here.
Lots of places are all ages, which is good.
And there's a pretty big college scene. It's actually kind of expanding now. There's like a lot of good venues that are really good with being inclusive and diverse. I feel like it makes a nice community. People like to come out to different shows, so I would say it's definitely pretty good.
It's always been pretty conducive to up and coming bands.
For a lot of bands and singer-songwriters in Washington, the city gives them a sense of important history as well as social inclusivity and acceptance. Frass Green tells us that they agree with this sentiment, but that there are also some tough aspects to having a band in a city like Washington.
I think like a little bit of yes and a little bit of no. Yes, in the sense that there are like a lot of incredible musicians here. So if you're looking to build out a project with just good musicians, you can find people who are interested or want to collaborate and do that kind of stuff. I would say no, because it's difficult to like be an actual working band in the city because it's extremely expensive. There's not the kind of like bohemian warehouse life that there are in some other cities that sort of foster that artistic growth. So that makes it difficult. But if you can manage a job where you scrape by and also have time for a band, then you can make it work.
You compare it to like a city like New York. Obviously, there's a lot more opportunities to play, but also just way more bands. And I think DC kind of like fits in an area where we all met and obviously had talent collective individually, and then started practicing together, and we could move from just practicing to playing small shows pretty quickly. And I'm not saying that you could do that. Not that it'd be slower in a place like New York, but you just get drowned out. And I feel like we've met a lot of people maybe easier because there's just like a tighter knit community maybe. I know like I've got friends that are musicians out in LA, and for them it's just competitive. Like people don't want to like help each other out and work together because everyone's trying to be that top place. And I feel like DC's not like that at all.
I found DC to be the most encouraging music like experiencing community I've ever been part of. School, other cities like the Bay Area.
We also asked nowadays how the Washington rock music scene has been for their band. They speak again to Above the Bayou, as well as to other venues that epitomize the scene.
Yeah, definitely. I think every show we've played here has been like worth it. Like, never a bad show. Always great people, great crowds. and like especially at Mystery Inc. I don't know what y'all have to say about that.
I always have a great time down here.
Yeah.
Every time that we play.
Well, I mean, I just started playing shows down here,
Mhm.
and I got to play like Above the Bayou right before it closed. So now only playing here, I guess, is cool. Being the house band now, that's pretty cool.
And we played a couple shows at Songbird, which was a super fun experience. Like opening for larger, like nationally touring bands, coming through, playing like a real venue with a stage and that kind of thing. Super cool, and those are always really fun.
Our interviews have brought us to the conclusion that the Washington DIY rock and alternative band scene is an inclusive space, just as the Avenues noted, but at the same time lacks diversity. Like Frass Green expresses, it is difficult to have a band in the city while also holding a paying job. For underprivileged young people coming from diverse backgrounds of oppression or financial insecurity, it seems like this may be a difficult goal. We asked up-and-coming singer-songwriter JC Case to weigh in on the issue.
I think that the indie rock and punk rock genre of music tends to be more stereotyped as for one particular race, which tends to be Caucasian people. Like, I don't know, white people love rock and roll. Like, that's kind of like a classic stereotype that happens. But I don't think, I mean, for me at least, I consider DIY to be, it's do it yourself. So I think with SoundCloud and a bunch of other, like YouTube and just more online resources, I think that it's becoming less and less homogenized. I think that there's more of a reach for people to have access to that kind of music that maybe, not all of their friends are listening to, but maybe they can go find online separately. I mean, I love Spotify because they'll just push me random things sometimes and be like, oh, maybe you might like this, or like this is a taste breaker for you. So I think that the DIY culture right now is a little homogenized, but I think it's getting better because of the ability for access now. I think wherever I go, I bring music with me. So I don't know if DC was like because of the music was why I came here, but I knew that there was a great music scene here, so it wasn't something I was like super worried about. I think that wherever you go, you can find people that love music and are really passionate about it. So I think DC does a really good job of like projecting that. So I think that's I don't know if that's a yes or no question, but it's kind of like I came to DC knowing that there would also be people here that love music, and that's, yeah.
The Washington, D.C. DIY scene always seems to be looking to become more inclusive. Many young people involved are already socially conscious and attend shows in these spaces to find other accepting people as well as enjoy creative performances.